The iconic disco architect Frank Farian, the genius who crafted the 1970s sensation Boney M, died on January 23rd, 2025, at 82. His family disclosed that in 1974, Farian, alone in a studio, recorded a disco track, delivering both the resonant male vocals and piercing falsetto. He then enlisted four dancers to masquerade as the band, hiding the fact that they never sang. For years, fans believed Bobby Farrell was the soulful voice of Boney M's hits, but it was a grand deception. The true vocals belonged to another. When Bobby passed in 2010, he was destitute and alone, while Farian had amassed over $50 million. The truth about the real singer obliterated fans' understanding of Boney M. In 1974, Frank Farian, a 33-year-old obscure producer in Germany, laid down Baby Do You Wanna Bump, single-handedly singing the low and high parts. Released under the invented name Boney M, it soared in the Netherlands and Belgium by 1975. Capitalizing on its success, Farian recruited performers to pose as the band on TV, lip-syncing to his recordings with no intention of them singing. The ruse was born and never faltered. Maisie Williams joined in 1975, a 24-year-old Montserrat native who'd won Miss Black Beautiful in 1973. Discovered by an agent in a restaurant, she claimed vocal ability, unaware Farian would never use her voice. In a 1978 interview, he dismissed her singing as inadequate, confining her to dance while she performed songs she didn't record, paid only for appearances without royalties or recognition. Once leading Black Beautiful People, Maisie became a silent figure in Boney M's spotlight. Bobby Farrell's story is equally heart-wrenching. A 26-year-old from Aruba, hired in 1975 for his dynamic dance energy, he mimed Farian's deep vocals. Fans embraced him as Boney M's voice, but live mic moments revealed his mismatch. Trapped in a pantomime, he danced vibrantly, but was denied his artistic identity. The name Boney M, seemingly exotic, was inspired by a trivial source. Farian saw Boney in the credits of an Australian detective show in 1974, adding an M for rhythm, birthing a name that would define disco history. By 1975, Farian imposed strict contracts, paying performers solely for shows, not record sales, claiming royalties as the main vocalist. Despite Boney M's 38 top 10 German hits from 1975 to 1988, including 15 chart toppers and 3 of Britain's top-selling singles, the stage stars were mere employees. Farian reaped millions and over 800 gold and platinum awards, while the performers remained in the shadows. In 1976, Daddy Cool launched them to stardom, reaching number 6 in the UK and number 1 in Germany on Musikladen. Yet, the signature "She's Crazy Like a Fool" was Farian's voice, not Bobby's, who performed with flair, but a muted mic. Farian later confessed the group was a visual vessel for his studio creations, a deliberate mirage. In 1977, Ma Baker fictionalized outlaw Ma Barker, renamed for Cadence, casting her as a Chicago crime lord. Historically, she was a mother overwhelmed by her son's crimes, killed in a 1935 shootout without retaliating, a narrative inflated by J. Edgar Hoover. Farian's disco spin ignored historians' objections. The 1976 album Take the Heat Off Me was another deception. Maisie didn't sing, with Farian rejecting her voice, employing session singers alongside Jamaican vocalists Liz Mitchell and Marsha Barrett, while he covered male parts. The truth emerged in 1978, devastating Maisie, who was excluded from the triumph. A 1977 tour mishap nearly unraveled the lie when playback failed, leaving Bobby miming silently to a baffled crowd. Management silenced inquiries, but doubts persisted. Sonny, a 1976 hit, enriched Farian, while performers got flat fees. Legal disputes later exposed Farian's control over rights, barring members from using the Boney M name and expelling dissenters from his studios. A former member labeled him vengeful as they battled for acknowledgement, not just money. In 1978, Rivers of Babylon, a cover of a Melodians' 1970 psalm-inspired song, sold over 2 million UK copies, topping charts for 5 weeks. Initially, Farian and his co-writer claimed credit, excluding the Melodians until a lawsuit enforced proper attribution, revealing his habit of taking what wasn't his. In December 1978, Boney M's Soviet tour provoked ire with Rasputin, which called the mystic the lover of the Russian queen, offending authorities. Undercover KGB agents enforced crowd restraint, creating an icy atmosphere. Historians criticized the song's falsehoods. Rasputin was a healer, not a playboy, condemning Farian's trivialization. By 1979, Bobby's missed rehearsals and erratic behavior during a grueling U.S. tour led Farian to use a doppelganger for some performances, unbeknownst to fans, further blurring authenticity. The 1980 album The Magic of Boney M topped UK charts, but its credits stunned fans. Liz Mitchell was credited for 12 tracks, Marsha Barrett for 1, despite her vital reggae contributions, including No Woman No Cry. Farian's bias diminished Barrett, prioritizing power over equity. In 1981, Bobby quit after years of miming Farian's vocals, unable to promote News, exposing the facade. Only Liz and Marsha sang in the studio. Farian's contracts ensnared members even after leaving. In 1982, Marsha's personal turmoil and Bobby's exit prompted Farian to introduce Reggie Sibbo as the new male face. But the carnival is over and Jambo underperformed. By 1985's I Dance, Marsha's role was nearly erased, reflecting Farian's indifference to the original members. Maisie's 1983 solo bid was thwarted by Farian's contract, as was Marsha's attempt to record with Eddie Grant. Farian's dominance was a gilded prison. Bobby's 1984 return for Kalimba de Luna and Happy Song failed to reignite the magic. 10,000 Light Years hit only number 23 in Germany. Lawsuits over the Boney M name and royalties simmered, with Farian withdrawing WY 1985, I Dance disappointed, and financial rifts tore the group apart. A 1990 court ruling allowed all 4 original members to perform as Boney M, but the fracture was permanent. Legal fights continued into the 2000s, debating ownership. Was it the performers or the mastermind? Farian's 1978 Bravo admission that Bobby and Maisie didn't sing was ignored until 1986, when fan disillusionment and Young, Free, and Single S number 48 flop in Germany ended the group. Exhaustion, Not a Scandal, dissolved them. Farian's 1990 Milli Vanilli revelation that Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan didn't sing on Girl You Know It's True mirrored Boney M's deceit, stripping the duo's Grammy. Farian nonchalantly admitted repeating the tactic, valuing visuals over vocals. From 1987 to 1988, Bobby's solo, Hoppa Hoa, failed and rivaled Boney M lineups with Marilyn Sharby or Selena Duncan confused fans. Farian's legal threats, like blocking 1989's Everybody Wants to Dance like Josephine Baker, stifled independence. By 1990, the group was emotionally and financially drained. Bobby hit rock bottom by 1992, his singles bombing. Desperate, he signed away all rights to Farian for 100,000 marks, leaving his family on welfare in Amsterdam's Gasperdam. Marsha battled ovarian cancer in the early 1990s, receiving no aid from Farian, and later breast cancer, returning with 1999 survival. Maisie's 1995 tour attempt cost $100,000 in legal fees against Farian's lawsuits. Liz's 1998 gospel album, Let It Be, flopped, and she grappled with depression from years of manipulation. A 2000 reunion imploded when Bobby arrived drunk, a filmed dispute marking their final collapse. Bobby Farrell died on December 30th, 2010, in St. Petersburg, Russia, chillingly on the same date and city as Rasputin's 1916 death. Performing Rasputin the previous night, he was found dead in his hotel, missing a wake-up call. His agent, John Sane, cited chronic heart, respiratory, and stomach issues, worsened by substance abuse. Conspiracy theories abounded, but Bobby's health had deteriorated for a decade. Buried in the Netherlands, he left $50,000 in debt, while Farian's fortune neared $50 million. Fans' fury sparked online petitions, outraged that the disco icon died penniless, restricted from using the Boney M name in some regions. Liz Mitchell survived a 2023 car crash in Cambridge, breaking her arm en route to visit her imprisoned brother. Marcia, marking 40 years with Marcus James in 2024, overcame ovarian and breast cancer. Farian died on January 23, 2025 in Miami after a 2022 heart surgery with a pig valve. Wheelchair-bound, his health faded. Liz's formal tribute lacked warmth, reflecting decades of legal battles and broken trust. Farian's $100 million estate excluded Boney M members, a calculated omission. Now in their 70s, survivors pursued justice. Farian's final years were solitary, his calls unanswered. Post-death YouTube videos highlighting Bobby's poverty against Farian's wealth fueled demands for his estate to rectify the injustice.